Welcome to the 48 Rules of Retirement. Today, we focus on rule number 10, get your affairs in order. Woody Allen said, "There are worse things in life than death." Have you ever spent an evening with an insurance salesman? This rule, to get your affairs in order, is not about lining up dates in a retirement home. After reading the newspaper obit section the other day, I remarked to my spouse, Diane, I think it's time that we finally talked about internment. Sadly, some people even forget to leave a will or a topographical map with directions to the treasure chest buried in the backyard. Michael, I do not want to hear about how the government unjustly treated Japanese and German civilians during the war. Desperate times call for desperate measures, Diane said. No, not that internment, I persisted. I'm talking about a final resting place, severe downsizing, a family plot versus our 1,800 square feet, much more snug like 6 by 6 by 6. Look, there's a sale on at Victoria Lawn Cemetery. A niche in the Garden of Memories mausoleum costs a mere $1,700 instead of their regular $2,549, I said. I don't want to be locked up in the Garden of Memories, she said. But we have a chance to save $849 per niche, and if you are willing to relocate closer to the ceiling or the floor, we can get an even better deal, I persisted. She refused to talk any further. Internment is an emotional topic. I enjoy cemeteries, particularly the small variety surrounded by tall, mature trees. I often stopped during walks and ate lunch at one such cemetery back in the days when I was working. It was a pleasant diversion, enveloped by nature without the urban distractions of noise and traffic. Thanks to business efficiencies, at the end of the 20th century, internment densities rose from 750 per acre to over 2,000 with innovations such as double occupancy. Mausoleums actually resemble mini warehouses, and they offer the added dignity of being dry and above ground. Like high-rise apartments, they also increase vertical capacity. Because boomers frequently opted for cremation, these niches were getting quite popular. Fellow retirees, you might like to start looking into plots other than those encountered in fiction, a lovely day's outing for you and your spouse. Take along a picnic lunch. Besides the few skeletons in our closet, we will now have many more to chart. Who knows, perhaps we might discover some interesting ancestors. Trend setters push the boundaries of burial schemes. On the internet for a mere $10 US, you or your spouse may be memorialized internationally, text only, on the World Wide Web. People from all over the world could visit our gravesite in cyberspace, leave flowers, aka textual messages, poems, and maybe some of those smiley face icons. Unfortunately, coffins and cemeteries, despite their amusing treatment on the popular TV series, 6 Feet Under, remain items we would rather not think about. Of course, the Irish, always pursuing any excuse to imbibe spirits, like to celebrate death with a wake. But for putting the fun back into funeral services, that is, there's nothing quite as festive as jazz musicians parading along the streets in New Orleans' French Quarter where people leave in style. A modicum of merriment with coffins is in order. Why so bland? A little graffiti is appropriate, the kind people write on plaster of Paris casts when they visit skiing friends in the hospital. Hand out magic markers, preferably permanent ink, and let friends and well-wishers pen their goodbyes, favorite quotes or even lyrics to songs. This way, funerals would be far less passive. Another technique to perk up caskets is to borrow from the example of automobiles. People dress up their cars with vanity plates, funky decals, and bumper stickers sporting slogans with special meaning for the driver. Why not do the same with the casket? A die-hard Buffalo Bills football fan should be interred, resting peacefully inside a coffin adorned with team colors and the slogan, "Go, Bills, go." Don't forget a funky epitaph on the tombstone. The best examples for this can be found in the Wild West. Here's one from Boot Hill Cemetery, Tombstone, Arizona. Here lays Butch. We planted him raw. He was quick on the trigger, but slow on the draw. So engage your inner poet. The simple RIP is just so bland these days. Check out the internet for other funeral service alternatives. Why not a fireworks display for your cremated remains? Gene Roddenberry of Star Trek fame and 60s LSD cult icon, Timothy Leary unleashed their ashes inside a rocket. If you enjoy hunting, shoot your ashes inside a bullet aimed at a wild critter. Or scatter your carbon tracings at your favorite sports stadium. Imagine a final resting place at Rogers Centre or the Air Canada Centre, Toronto's retirement homes for last-place teams. What about the 18th green at the country club? Your friends might lament, Herb finally got his hole in one. Don't forget music. Perhaps a little AC/DC or ZZ Top, maybe, Wind Beneath My Wings. I'm leaning towards She's Not There by the Zombies, and Oh Happy Day by Aretha Franklin. And Spirit in the Sky, with its rock music, loud drums and distorted electric guitar with traditional folk music, clapping hands, tambourines, and gospel-like lyrics. That's a musical send-off. Why not go out in style? Look at the lavish funerals staged for mafia bosses, with well-wishers donating carloads of flowers in each mournful event filmed by the FBI. Get ready for retirement rule number 11, soon to come.